Hello and welcome to another session of this live coding project. We're working on making a React Native application, so a mobile app for iOS and Android where you can talk to an AI voice. And so we are here, part 8. So far we have done like a main call page, just to test, so you can select a voice. I believe if I should work on.
Hey, I'm Ash. Always around to back you up when...
Hello, I'm Ballad. Coral checking in. Here to listen and keep...
So that is, I did this recently and I'll explain the code how it works. But yeah, it's just a drop-down menu. You can even search. If I show the keyboard as well, Ash, but if you, like for example, I'm trying to find Ballad, so I do LLAD, will still find it. I don't think if I have a typo, like Coral, if I do Boral, yeah, it's not going to do that, but it's going to find any letter like that, so that contains that. And if they do capital, it still works, so yeah. That's kind of cool, and I use a package for this, so I'll show this. Yeah, we have the press play button, which I thought I fixed that something yesterday, but I'll retry and see what happens. We have a Next.js server where not only the MP3s of the voices are stored, which I'll show in a second, but also no, wrong shortcut. So we have our multi repo. We use npm workspaces for this. We use Turbo repo for managing the dependencies and what packages are used in the different apps. Expo is the main React Native app. Next.js is the server that also is used for a landing page. It's going to be used for authentication as well. That's the next thing I'm going to try to do today. We also have a Python server for the voice connection, or WebRTC, web real-time communication server. It's basically just one long Python script, which it has this main function at the bottom, which runs a CLI command from LiveKit. And LiveKit is a company or service that allows us to connect to multiple AI providers like OpenAI. They support PlayHT. That's the one I'll try to do again today. If I have some time. Oh, thankfully they don't show my secret key, yeah, it allows you to generate AI voices, clone voices. Of course, you need to have permissions for that, but if you want to clone your girlfriend's or fiance or mother, grandfather, anybody's voices, you can record a little 30-second audio, upload it to them, and then you can generate a voice. It's very similar. It's not perfect, but it's actually pretty good. And I haven't tested the latest model because, of course, they always keep improving, which is great. We can have some demos as well directly on livekit.io. The main playground, the main open source project I was trying to replicate on React Native is this playground from livekit.io. You put your OpenAI key and then you select a prompt, and then it kind of selects a voice by default, but of course you can change any of the OpenAI voices. And yeah, just trying to make it a bit more interesting. I added recently this clone tab at the bottom. Of course, it doesn't work, doesn't do anything, but that's hopefully to do that. The scheduling, that was last time when you press this, we wanted to show a model or a pop-up saying, you know, what time do you want to be scheduled to be called by the voice you just selected. But yeah, I was just trying to use push notifications and trying to understand how to do that in Expo and make a sound work, kind of an alarm when this will be scheduled, but I'm not sure if it's an iOS thing that I have to do on Xcode and put the MP3 that I want to play, or WAV file maybe, but it didn't work. So yeah, we're gonna go and tackle a lot of the different things. And before that, I just want to go through some of the last things I did. So yeah, it's not like it just kind of works and that's it. I want to go through the code. I just want to double check, when was the last time I did the live video? So, of not this one, of course. 13 days ago, which was December 22. So even before Christmas, so December 22. Yeah, so if you can see this, I do have a branch, and before that, of course, I do have we have everything on an open source repo, or a repo that is, of course, open source in the public. Yeah, I only have one branch. Sorry, I only have one branch live because I think it doesn't make sense to put too much stuff online and confuse people until especially it doesn't work. But I do have a local branch. Oh, this is different. This is turn detection. This is something for AI voices that in order to better understand when the person talks and the AI can interrupt, there are different models to actually do that, and LiveKit released this open model on Hugging Face, so you don't even understand really the details. You just need to know that you can use this model. Actually, where did I find this? Because maybe I found it on Twitter. Yeah, it's a good question where I found this, but oh, maybe on their GitHub. Maybe I saw a pull request or something like that. It's a plugin that they have. So they have different plugins. For example, OpenAI, it's a plugin, and DeepGram, Google, all these different providers that do different things. Not only the actual voice synthesis or voice recognition or text to speech or speech to text, but other things that are plugins. So yeah, they added this voice activity detection model for end of turn. And yeah, this is just a model, and by just doing this, putting this on your voice AI pipeline, sorry, let me go to here, and yeah, putting that there, it does improve that. At the beginning it needs to download this open source model from Hugging Face, but then it, or maybe you need to download it, and then yeah, it loads that into memory, and it's not a huge model, so it should run pretty much everywhere. Yeah, but I haven't. I guess that's a good question. Why did I not commit it? Maybe I just didn't have the time to properly test it, but I think I did test it quickly and it did work for me. What else did I do? Yeah, at beginning we had everything, all the notification functions inside of the main file where, close everything. And basically the call tab, I had all the notification, like request notification, permissions, all of that, I had it in the same file. So I kind of refactor a little bit. Here I just created a function which doesn't go to here. Let me restart a language server. Let's see that. Yeah, okay. Or yeah, so it's just, I'm still using Expo notifications for this. This is a method that they provide for both iOS and Android. They have, of course, more options. That's why, even though they have the same, but I do want all of these permissions. And actually, I probably should not do this and just return the function, and then this will be a promise because this returns a promise. Also the notification handler, right? That's what I said, notification handler, yeah. That's something I also had in the first tab. So this is the function that is executed when you press the schedule call. So when you press that, the first thing we do is check if we have notification permissions. If you don't, we just set an alert, like a pop-up here. And then we have the notification handler. Which is basically what should happen when I'm confused now. I think it's when a notification is pressed, and since we're using local notifications, meaning this is not a push notification that comes from Firebase or any cloud or anything external. It's just the actual app triggering this and to the OS. So we are just defining a function with two callbacks, a successful one and an error one. This is the type definition. Basically, you can either return a function that returns a notification ID or undefined. I guess just that's how, you know, Expo notifications works. I just renamed this one, just set notification handler, just to have the same name here. And then, yeah, on error is the same. You either get a notification ID in the function callback or error. And yeah, we just set that. This returns nothing, so there's no need to return it as I just did now. And it's, oh yeah, and also sets this channel. So for Android, basically any recent Android, you need to set a channel. And the name of the channel is called new alarm or channel ID. And then some importance, a sound. This is the thing that is not really working, but maybe I need to understand if this has to do with iOS, Android, or something else. Maybe this is just for Android. Anyway, yeah, we set the handler, so we get these callbacks, and then we just set something for Android, so we have a channel that we can later use. That's it. And then at the moment, for those callbacks, I just want to get a console log or console error, depending on that. Let me see actually what happens at the moment. So if I schedule this, I think it's scheduled to do to 3 seconds. Yeah, and then I press here. No, nothing happens. So then this callback happens when the notification successfully appears, not when it's pressed, which is great. And we have this ID, and not for now, but you know, sometimes in messaging apps like WhatsApp, you maybe not open the specific message you got from the notification. You don't press the notification, you open the app and then click on the person who sent you the message. That notification is gone or removed when you do that. You don't have to then, you know, swipe or clear that notification. And that is basically because there is somewhere in WhatsApp, for example, that knows that there is an ID of a push notification that was sent, and to dismiss that notification. So in theory, if somebody gets the notification alarm and instead of pressing that, clicks on that, we can automatically dismiss that by keeping track of this ID. And then, yeah, this is the schedule notification. At the moment, I'm just hard coding to trigger it 3 seconds after it's pressed. You have to have this kind of type, schedule trigger input type, time interval. You can have, this is where we're going to actually say, I suppose, calendar, and then say specific when exactly do we want to get the schedule notification. Yeah, and this is the channel ID that we just set previously for Android, so this is for Android only. Yeah, so that's basically what I did in this commit. I'll try to go just to the important things. Yeah, I just had some changes. Oh, in theory, at this point, I added the MP3s of OpenAI, of the voices into Expo, but first of all, I think it doesn't really work well. For some reason, I couldn't get it to work in the JavaScript side, so I just then moved it to the Next.js, and also makes it more future-proof, because if ever I add a voice or I remove a voice, it's better if I don't have to release a new version of the app. I can just, you know, remove that voice or MP3 from the server. At the moment, the list is hard-coded. The list of the voices here. And for example, where is it? Yeah, it's just voices, voice ID is an enum. An enum is kind of like a object with key and value at the same. In here, I have the same exact thing. So if you think about this as an object and you get the values of that object, key value, and then you iterate, and then I need to make this object. This is just, I'll explain why we need this shape, but we need a label and value for the drop-down menu. And see, I added, like, we should get this list of the voices, in theory of the user's voices, from an API. So I'm not hard coding, but I just put it here quickly so I can show this.
Hey, I'm Ash.
I need to fix that because I did change the icon when the thing is pressed. Yeah, it should do a force update. which is just a way to update the state. Well, yeah, update the rendering. It doesn't seem to work now.
Hey,
Oh.
on Ash. Hey, on that.
Hello?
There we go. That was something. Just it makes a bit more sense to me. Yep. So yeah, we have the voices here. I changed it to echo because echo is more a bit more a male voice, and for the default Schwarzenegger brother, it makes a bit more sense to have it. I added some information in the README file. Here I think I tried with the voices and didn't really work. I might have to remove this later. I think this is nothing really important. Kind of rename the app to wake call. Yeah, I tried to do an EAS build. So the EAS build is the Expo build. I wanted to have a quick app version on my phone so I can show it to my family during Christmas, but I'm having some issues with Android build. What was the issue? Oh, it's just a notification icon not found. Okay, maybe that's easy enough to fix then. Okay, that's good. And notification sound, we do have it. We just need notification icon. Yeah, let me do this now and then we'll come back to the commits. So notification sound, there's many ways you can generate all the different assets for apps. Android app icon. There's a good website. There's nothing AI, it's just kind of crops and formats, or yeah, just crops and generates different images for different sizes. And I believe maybe it was like actually from Android. Because one sec. Because maybe there's a way to do it from Android Studio. But I remember a website. Yeah, so you can do it from Android Studio. Image Asset Studio. I do have Android Studio, but I'm pretty sure there was a website that did the same thing. Android notification image generate. There we go. This is it. So it's somebody on GitHub, Roman Nurik, Nurik, Roman Nurik.github.io. If you search for Android Asset Studio, I think that's the best way to find this. And yeah, he has different icon generators, a launcher, which is the main app shortcuts, which we don't have, a notification icon, yeah, a lot of ones. So we need a notification icon. If you don't have an icon, you can search for, I don't know, like robot. They have a little one. Alarm. We don't have an icon at the moment, or I was trying to generate an icon but I couldn't find one I liked. Of course, you can use text, change font, change color. No, not really. Actually, yeah, one thing to notice about notification icons on Android is that they're like black and white. They have two tones, because on the top, when you get a notification, this little icon on Android is really basic. So yeah, that it's, and they don't let you choose one for Android and one for iOS. So yeah, I guess we have to make one that works for mainly Android, and then that will work for Android. Let's just pick one. What's the difference between all these three? Alarms, and iStat alarm, access, and I guess this one is has a simpler name. Where should we put this? Assets, so inside of Expo assets, yeah. And where is it? I guess we need the highest resolution one. And I did have this alarm sound that I downloaded. That's not too annoying. And I downloaded it or converted to MP3, because I'm not sure if it's required, but the examples were using MP3, and you can have multiple ones, so I guess in the future we can make that optional and put it in the settings, and then people can choose different sounds for the alerts. The notification icon is this. Sorry, that's the name of the icon. So I'm gonna commit this. At the moment, Expo builds, cloud builds, are not connected to my GitHub, as in like in Vercel, for example. Sorry, where did I go? In Vercel, for example, you push to GitHub and automatically a build starts. Pretty sure this doesn't work, because I made a lot of commits recently, and yeah, maybe I need to connect to GitHub to do that, but I don't want to, especially because it's not working at the moment, and maybe in the future I will. So I'm just committing this locally, and then I need to remember how to do the Expo build. Hopefully you guys didn't get that. So these are all the the Node.js packet, Node.js scripts or npm scripts. And I think I need to do EA's build, and I need to say development Android. So basically npm build :Android, and it does send some of the code to Expo, and then hopefully we'll do the build in the cloud, and it will tell me if something's wrong. So while that happens, we can continue to check what I did. Yeah, there was an issue where I guess you can have such a new version of Node and npm, so I had to not downgrade, but just said, yeah, use an older one. I added some information about Expo Insights. Expo Insights, I think it's just for analytics. And I found a guide to how to do internalization, so I have multiple languages, and I just added a link. This is somebody made this fix on the Next.js authentication route for Expo. I mean, this is using cookies, so I'm not sure if this even makes sense for us. We're not going to have cookies. Normally you have JWT authentications when you use a React Native app or a mobile app, not a cookie because we don't have a web view. But yeah, I just saw that somebody made a pull request on the repo that we're using, and it's good to keep up to date with those things. 262, so this one, yeah, and these are all dependencies, so yeah, nothing to follow out. Yeah, it's good to check. Somebody open this, very slow. Yeah, so I think this is nothing, just somebody trying some things. Oh yeah, I did put that there. Yeah, another thing too I recently learned about, it's UV. UV, it's a package manager for Python. As you can see here, it's a lot faster than any of the other ones. It's written in Rust. And I'm not using it just because it's Rust, it's just because it's faster than pip, and I prefer having log files because by default pip, when you have a Python project, I don't even have it here. Yeah, you have these versions like this, but then when you installed, you have a lot of different packages, and those are not reflected here. So the dependencies of your main packages can be anything. You can also put stuff like that, which is like any version of this protocol, and by default this is not good. So I could of course just put equals and the version, but I don't know, it just feels without a log file, especially coming from a JavaScript world, it's a bit strange. But UV has a log file, so see everything is, there's a hash, there's a version of Python, there's a package thing, your these are dependencies of this package. Somewhere you have your dependencies, I think, here as well. I guess they are just listed normally. And yeah, it's pretty simple. To create an environment, you do UV and then name the environment folder like v. I think now I actually have a different, I have a dot because I guess that's what people use. So I should probably delete the readme. And yeah, there's no pip file, there's no pip command, of course. Pip is a UV sync. That's what you do. And if you're curious how do you add a package, is UV add, and then the name of the package, not UV install. And that's it. Of course, you have to activate the folder. So let me do that with you guys and see how, because I'm at the moment already I'm activated in our environment. So if I open a new terminal, and I should probably clean all of my, there's too many things showing on my bash path or bash whatever. So I need to activate. You can do with the dot or with source, and it just runs this file. If you're curious what the file has, it's a bash file. I don't know the details, but it has a deactivate function that is added to your path, so later you can deactivate the path and kind of get out of the environment. Sorry, deactivate the environment. And yeah, it's just a bash file, bash script. Now in your terminal, at least in my ZSH terminal, you get this saying that you are activated, and then I can do Python main.py dev because just the CLI command, you can do dev or start is a production command, dev is the development command. Yeah, download files, that's the one. It's not here, but that's the one we need to start it, to download any models, AI models. Yeah, so I just migrated to that. You can specify the Python version. Now we have a pyproject.toml file with the dependencies. I did have some issues with the latest OpenAI plugin from LiveKit, but after a few back and forth comments on GitHub on an issue, we found one that actually works now with the latest version. Oh yeah, and in order to actually deploy this in the cloud, I'm not deploying this on Vercel. Maybe it works, but when it comes to Docker files and yeah, just a bit more custom, I guess, backends, especially in Python, I prefer to run server. I use fly.io. I'm not sure if I'm a bit over spec, but there is a fly file. Is it fly.toml, and then you can set the memory of the virtual machine you want. I think this is the smallest CPU. I should probably check what is the minimum that I need. And I don't know if it tells you how much RAM is used. Maybe see in the last 2 days. Oh, and we'll see. Actually, let me open something. So if I want to see the logs of, I think, both machines, because you always have to have two. If I stop my server, my local server, and then you can see the logs here.
I'm here to help with any questions or information you need. How can I assist you today?
1 second, why the voice is not coming as...
Hey, wake up. It's time to hit the gym, brother. You know how important it is to start the day strong. Let's go. Let's get those muscles pumping and feel the power. Remember, every rep is a step closer to becoming stronger and healthier. Let's go. No excuses. Let's make it happen. Pump up those ions.
Cool. So yeah, that works. We have a live server running the cloud. So if, I guess by default, maybe it connects to my development server, or LiveKit connects to my development server. If it's running, I'm not sure how they select which server to connect to. Maybe it's the last one that was started. Nevertheless, this is running. And yeah, I just wanted to see when it runs how much memory it uses. So yeah, maybe I definitely overspec. There's no need for have 2 gigs of RAM. One should be more than enough. But I think I got an error the last time. I'm just gonna say this live kit or fly, because I'm actually paying for this. It's not much, probably $5 or euros per month. Scaling. Okay, so these are the machines. So, in theory I'm paying $10 per month. I probably can go to 5. Oops. So I'll see if I fly. Do I have the commands written? I always write my commands in my README file because there's so many things to remember that then I will definitely forget. See, this is also out of date. But there's nothing about fly. No. I'll add some fly.io. To deploy the Python web RTC server. But to actually launch it, which we should probably put it here, deploy to fly.io, and somehow GitHub Copilot completion is asleep or not working. I do have a fly.toml command, so okay, so the launch is to initially create the app on fly.io, but if I want to just deploy a new version, for example, then I just do deploy. Before I do that, I want to show you guys the Docker file. I found a Docker file example for UV, for the Python package manager on Astral. That's where the main things are. And then on LiveKit, they also have, of course, a Docker file for their Python project. And so let's go through the Docker file. We are using a version of a Python image that has Python. Bookworm is a version of Ubuntu, so probably it's Ubuntu with Python with UV. We just create a folder called app. We set some environmental variables that they actually, I don't know exactly what they mean, something about UV. Don't write bytecode. This is something for Python. Oh, I guess it doesn't write the PYC files. These are the kind of the compiled bytecode files. Keeps Python from buffering, standard output and error to avoid situations where the application crashes without a meeting. So basically no buffering. Buffering is just kind of a cache, so no, just put everything out, especially when there are crashes. And then this is just a long command for doing UV sync, which is kind of the equivalent of an npm install to download the packages, the Python packages. We set up the environment path variable. There can only be one entry point. Do I have multiple entry points? I do. Probably then this should be deleted, because we have one at the bottom, which is basically just run Python main with the command start after that. You have some user ID for Linux. We're adding this user ID called app user. So create a non-privileged user. I'm not sure why we need to do that, but I guess it's better. It's a good idea. We do some installation updates of the packages. I'm not sure. Probably I shouldn't download Python again. There's no need. And I guess it's removing some cache of npm. We're creating some cache folders. We're moving to that app user folder. Then we're finally downloading the AI models, if there are any that we set up in our Python script. And then we run the production version. Yeah. So, and also, of course, you can manage machines and everything. So once that is, you launched initially the machine in fly.io, you're going to reuse the same machine. This is going to just, pretty sure my Docker machine is, or Docker engine is closed at the moment or not running locally. So I'm just uploading, I suppose, the folder plus the Docker file to the cloud. They are building everything in the cloud. Yeah, see, it's super fast. I don't know if you had experience working with Google Cloud Run, for example. It's so much more difficult and slower. You have to do a lot more commands, especially for the building the images and then pushing the images and all of that. I had issues. I couldn't do that in the cloud. I had to do this manually. Thankfully, it all works. What does it say? Failed to update machines. Failed to update machine. Invalid. Yeah, see, I don't know why it's telling me the minimum is 2 gigs. Why is the minimum 2 gigs? Is it because of the region IMI? Which region is this server on? EWR? It's not very clear. Oh no, it's in Paris. So maybe Paris doesn't have small machines? No. Let's try again. Let's deploy that with 2 gigs. I just want a deployment that succeeds and the machine stays working, or I can still use it from the app. Once I'm done, I'll try to do this to scale. Let's see if I can scale down. Not the number of machines, but the memory. I can see the current resources. Scale volume, I guess I can attach more volumes. Oh, you can add multiple regions quickly, that's nice. Scale out the machines and workers. I think we just have machines at the moment. We don't have workers. I don't even know what they exactly mean by workers. builders. Yeah, app builders, I think it's what you also need to kind of configure a machine or something that it does the actual building of the image. Okay, so this worked, and I'm not running anything locally, so if I press this,
Hey, brother.
that's cool, that keeps on working. I did press command. I want to say what, yes, 2 machines on Charles de Gaulle, I guess, so that's France, 2 gigs. Oh yeah, so I can set the memory and set the memory in megabytes. So if I do 1024, it's too low. Why is it too low? If you have a smaller instance. I mean, I can investigate this later or open a ticket or research on their support page. Maybe somebody, even the example says you can use a 512 memory. And I'm using the smallest CPU, shared CPU. Where's the community? Let me just have a quick Google of the error message. Of course, there's nothing. Cannot exceed. No, I have the opposite issue. I don't want, it's too high. So yeah, I guess I'll have to investigate why the minimum is 1. Is it because I initially started with 2 and it doesn't downgrade, or somehow it thinks I have something in the dependencies? Or the Docker Slim should be a small Docker image, and nevertheless it is working. I'll pay $5 more per month if I really needs to happen, but this so yeah, fly.io works and it's great, so at least that kind of works. I added a quick clone voice tab, as I said, with a clone icon. Oh, I thought I just saw something change at the bottom. Am I not wrong? Oops. Oh, let's check the build on Expo. Did it finish? Where are you, Expo? EAS Cloud. So many tabs. I can close fly. Oh, it did actually build. Nice. So Expo Doctor has a warning. It failed because, yeah, some compatibility. I've saw this before. Nothing to worry about. So let me just check, because if this works, it means that it's maybe even connected to Google, to the Play Store. And I did manage to resuscitate a Google Play Store, developer console. What is the URL for this? Play.console. Oh yeah, this is my old startup with a friend of mine called Onova. We had a few apps, and I have now a wake up here because I didn't want to pay the $25 or euros again to create a new Google Play account to deploy apps. Yeah, this is, I don't know, some old stuff maybe, but as far as I know, EAS can deploy apps directly to Google Play. Maybe I just need to connect to it. This is the Google Play services. Let's just submit an app. Oh, okay, great. So I'll just, where do I get this thing? Google Services account key. It's probably somewhere here, or in all the apps. This is part of something you always have to do, so let's learn together, I guess, how we get a Google Service account key. This sounds more like Google Cloud. Manage developer accounts. Do I have all the permissions I need? Yeah, I'm an admin, so I should have everything. Maybe I'm not the owner, as in logged in with the actual email of the owner, but I should have. Let's see if Expo documentation tells us where to get this. How to obtain, not for FCM is Firebase something messaging, so I don't want that. I want, in order to deploy the app, because you can see you can even submit directly to Android, or sorry, to Google Play Store. Okay, I can put the file there, but where do I get the file? Oh, there's something. Let's follow from the top. So I have the developer account. You will need a Google Service account to automate. Follow the instructions creating. Okay, so there's a README file. Okay, so I need to go, yeah, this is the console, Google console. So I'm just gonna do this in my other window, and maybe you guys can check your phone while I do this. I already have a project. Create a service account. Okay, then I need a role. Oh, it's optional, I guess. Oops. Copy the email ID. Okay, copy the email ID. You'll need this in step 8. Step 8. Oh, is where do I have to invite new users? Okay. Yeah, I've never done this, so I guess this is the new users in the main console. Yeah. How do I need to log in with the other account, I guess. Thankfully I managed to recover this account because it was connected to my old Ukrainian phone number. Okay, now I can invite new users. Okay, I guess no expiry date, right? Yeah, I guess it makes sense that it has access only to this app, even though I don't have any other real app that is being used at the moment. Edit drafts, yes. Release the Kraken, production, testing, and testing tracks. This is for if you wanna not deploy directly something to the Play Store that everybody can download. You can put in a different test tracks, as in you have a beta testers, and I guess you can even manage the list of testers. And if you want to have more, tracks, they call those for like beta testers, alpha testing, anything is you can group them together. They call them tracks. Maybe I think in Apple they call them groups, testing groups or something around those lines. So that's where you do. I need to manage the store presence, I guess, to update something, and that's it. Apply, invite this Google Console user. Now I need to back up. Do some JSON, create new key. This is something a bit tedious they have to do at the beginning, but once that is done, then hopefully that is it. And also, of course, don't save these files in your GitHub because then anybody can deploy anything to that app on your Play Store account. So save it somewhere else. Sometimes people create a new repo, a new repository that of course is private, and they store that there, and only, let's say, if it's your company, only managers or the CEO, whoever has access to that. So if you're adding, there's a new developer, then you give that developer access just to that repo, instead of, for example, me having this file on my laptop and potentially lose the laptop and lose access to this, or put it in Dropbox, in my personal Dropbox, or in a company Google Drive, then everybody has access to, it's better sometimes to keep developer secrets and passwords and all that securely, and make sure only people who have and need to have access to that have access to that. And whenever, of course, an employee leaves, you can just remove them access, and hopefully they don't have a copy, they didn't copy that to their personal laptop. You never know that, but at least once they leave the company, they shouldn't have access to, that file wherever that's stored in the cloud. And because this is my personal project, I'm just gonna put it in my Dropbox somewhere. Where is my little projects folder? Sorry, if I don't put things in the right place, I never find them. So I do take a little more time organizing things at the beginning, but it makes me a bit more sane. Otherwise, I'll keep looking for things all the time. What do I call it? Personal projects. Okay. Now that I have the JavaScript file that has the private key, I need to open Google Play Android Developer API, enable this on my Google Cloud project, and I guess I need to upload the file. Oh no. Where do I have to upload the file? Maybe, oh yeah, that's a file I have to have it locally on my computer. Or even local on my thing. I think I need to have it local. Because where did I say that? Sorry. So now the API is enabled. I think I can close this. I have the file here. Close this as well. Where is EAS? Oh, I need to upload it to Expo. Okay, that makes sense. Okay. So it has access to deploy things. I guess I can delete the credentials if I need to. I don't need to do that though. You can do the Apple thing here as well. Maybe the first time you have to do this manually. Where am I? Maybe the first time you have to manually upload the app. And the next time you can do it via here. Or maybe because I did a development build, it just did a development build, so I can, download this, load it from Expo Go. Or is this going to download an APK? Let me see what happens if I click on this link. Send this link, open, install the device. How does it, but if it opens this, and then how, sometimes they're being too smart and they don't let you see what actually happens on the device. If I do Android, will it work in a different way? Okay, yeah, it actually downloads an APK file. Okay. Let's try to do build Android development, production. So if I do a production Android build, sorry, that's development, production Android build on the cloud, will that deploy to Google Play? I think it has all the credentials. See, automatically even increases the version codes. That is something you normally have to do manually. Do we have the Android files? Yeah. So if you have, let me put it here. If you have Android, traditional Android project or React Native project, you normally need to increase the versions of your app before uploading, because you cannot just upload the same version all the time. So there is a somewhere there is a build Gradle file with the version, at least, yeah, so version code. I think this is just the thing that it increased. Maybe to get the files here on my local, I need to run a command. It doesn't keep things up to date. But yeah, that is normally where you increase the code. This is like a number that increases every time. Use your version that developers or users will see when they go to Google Play, or in this case, yeah, Google Play, and they see which version of the app I'm downloading. That's like a visible name, and this is, imagine you do a like small bug fix. You don't want to increase this version number, that it's visible. Users just want to set that to 2 or 3. Maybe you forgot something really simple and the build didn't work, but you still need to increase it when you send a build to Google Play. So yeah, let's see if that happens. If not, we'll see what the issue is. Yeah, I'm gonna open a new tab, running, run the emulator, or the bundler, sorry. So that loads. We're getting some warning. I think I've seen this being fixed in a new version of, I want to say, LiveKit. But yeah, or the WebRTC of React Native from LiveKit. But it's just a warning, I think, at the moment. Oh yeah, there's another issue with native wind, the tailwind stuff for React Native. See, the colors are all gone. So for some reason, I think this doesn't happen in production. It just happens in development. So for example, then I need to just Expo index, just run, change any file, press save a few times maybe. Oh, see this thing I've noticed again? So if I reload the page into there's clone voice at the bottom, but I press here, it goes to clone. I think that is there's a difference between this title, that it probably has to match the tab name, and also in the layout I have clone voice and then clone. So I want clone voice or clone. Let's see which one is which. See, I changed this. It changed both this one and this one. So you can't, for some reason, you can't have. Maybe there is a different option that you can change to have it different. But this title updates both. So I have to match clone voice with clone voice here, capital V. And this, and I fix that. Then I have clone voice. I click, and clone voice is clone voice almost everywhere. and now see the colors are. So sometimes you just have to press save a few times so it automatically refreshes, and then the colors are back. I don't have the GitHub issue for that, but I know that people have raised this issue. Okay, now we have an EA's Gradle build issue. Compressing uploaded computer fingerprint. Let's see if this is the one I just started a few minutes ago. Yeah, that makes sense. I'll probably debug this on my own because this can be tedious to watch. Oh, it's a JavaScript issue. Okay. That's annoying. But why happens in production build but not in the development build? Why would that be an issue? This is the warning we get also locally about WebRTC. And then when after the bundle is generated, then I guess I don't know what exactly it's doing here. I guess it's creating, yeah, the whole, it's just part of creating everything in the React Native world to create the JavaScript bundle, and there is an issue in this line of JavaScript. But of course it doesn't tell us, you know, where this file came from, the code came from. So, and it's using the Hermes JavaScript engine that is inside of in React Native. Yeah, so I guess I have to manually load this and try to build this locally to see what could be the issue, which package, which version. I guess it's not compatible either with Expo or something, because this is kind of a newer version of Node that uses import.meta instead of process.env. Okay, so we won't have a production build today, but yeah, that's how in theory it will work. We still have, I think, half an hour or so left, so let's do something more interesting. Oh yeah, and I wanted to show you guys the drop-down menu. So this is the main file for this screen. We have some live kit room component that has different configurations. It's some Expo route or router, Expo router stuff. We have a scroll view because this can scroll. And this is the drop down. If I take this out, you'll see it's gone. I created this component which uses React Native element dropdown. Which is a nice open source project which allows you to do different kind of drop downs. I'm not sure if it's the best UI for this, but what happened? Where did it go? Hello? Okay. it shows, and you can search and you can customize a lot of stuff. At the beginning I wanted to do a kind of a carousel, but in the future, if you're gonna be able to clone your own voice or multiple people's voices, and maybe a list makes a bit more sense. We can have a little logo here saying this is OpenAI, and another one for saying this is your custom one. The white means it's selected. So yeah, I just I have defined this label, this thing on top that says voice. It's a simple text component from React Native with some background that I specifically put to be the background, the default background of the app, a kind of gray. Otherwise, it will do transparent. And the styles, I need them because in order to put absolute and specify the things. I think probably I guess all of them I can use Tailwind classes, but I have this written already by default from their examples, so I didn't want to spend too much time just making the code look nice. It's better sometimes to spend time making the app work. And these are the different props you can pass to this drop down component. It's actually just a little JavaScript file. Well, sorry, a component. It has multiple select. It has some example for selecting a country, so this can be useful. But the main thing is the drop down index file, and it's not a small file, but it's 700 lines of all JavaScript code. It uses some Lodash, React, and just all files and things that are internal. I don't think it has that many or any dependencies. Maybe a hook, but maybe these are for the management or for the development and release of this package, not for that. You can customize a lot. It has the search option if you want to enable it or not. If I turn this off, you won't see the search. You only can scroll and select what you want. You have some height. You have this label and value. Remember, I was telling that we need an array of objects for the voices, and the voices need a label and value, each object. And these voices is what I'm passing to my custom voices drop-down component. Then this voices prop goes all the way down to the data. This is the data that is structured in this way, where you have a label and value. Because of course you can have Ashley, for example, as the name of the voice, but the actual ID or string that you pass when you click on this, which is the value, is Ash. So you can have different things. For the moment I just keep everything lowercase. The placeholder is when nothing is selected. So if I remove, can I remove that? This is what appears here. If it's not focused, show select item. If it's focused, show the dots. Normally I prefer to do the opposite, the logic. So let's do that because it's easier for my brain. So if it's focused, show 3 dots. Otherwise not. The focus is just a use state method, and we set that to true or false when these callbacks of the same drop-down component are called. What else? Oh yeah, we have a custom render item, and also we have onChange. So when onChange means when you select this, it's gonna run this function, the set voice. The set voice is a prop, and it's just a use state that is outside, is on the main screen. So we set that voice value, and we set focus false. So we do that. Let me turn and put the value back on there. So it shows that if I click ash, ash is stored outside and it's then passed here, so it knows which one to show in white. You have different styles for different things: placeholder, selected text, input text, container. Yeah, so you can customize a lot of stuff, which is great. The main thing I customized in order to put this play icon is the item, or you have to create a render item component that takes the item and yeah, so the main view has some styles, but the main thing I wanted to do is that if ash, for example, is selected, when you open the drop down, I show it a little this white, which is background white, a little border with gray, with 1 pixel width here, and the borders will be rounded. You can hover on things. If you have VS Code extension with Tailwind, it should work because these are the same classes. So you can see it's 4 pixels rounded, 1 pixel width. Sometimes a lot of people on React Native uses 0.5, so make it even more thin. Maybe that looks a little bit better. See, actually, it doesn't really make sense to have a border on the right and left. So let's add a border top. How do you have multiple things on React, on Tailwind? Multiple borders, Tailwind, CSS, border, what? Do I have to specify each border individually? Top, right, bottom, left. You can have, I guess I want only the top and bottom. So yeah, we can use top Y and border Y. Yeah, and then that's gonna say top and bottom border in this case, so that we have not 2 borders or a line there. That looks a bit nicer, and that happens only if the item that is rendered matches the current selected voice. We have this label here. Oh, I added this touchable opacity for the font awesome icon. This is an icon that by default it shows the play button or the play icon.
Hey,
but when
I'm
it's
Ash.
playing, or we are and when it's playing and it's the one selected, then we show that.
Hey, I'm Ash. Hey, I'm Ash.
Should be a
Hello?
Hey,
Hello? I'm Ballad. Coral checking.
if it's the one playing. Oh yeah, the voice playing is not the voice currently selected. The voice playing is here. So in order to play this MP3, I'm using, where is it? I'm using use audio player, which is from Expo Audio. You have to install this package. Right here. It says in alpha mode. Hopefully they don't break too many things, but they It just can be used for many things. It can be used to play sounds, to record sounds in your microphone, and of course to play the audio back that you just recorded. But for each one, and maybe not for playing sound, but for the recording the microphone, you need permissions. That's why at the beginning it says you probably need to do that. At the moment I haven't turned that on yet, so I didn't add that permission. You need that for iOS, I guess, only. Okay. You have some example code, and yeah, I'm just using this hook, use audio player, and the player.play will play the audio source you specified here. So at the beginning I'm loading this, the Expo API is, let me check, can I show that file? Anyway, it's my Next.js API server. So, and sorry, where did it go? And I have a folder here inside of public. Yeah. So and with all the different voices, I had to actually kind of hack the player, the playground website from OpenAI to download the voice, because these little examples are nowhere accessible on the documentation page. So I just look at the network tab and look at what file is being played when you press the play button in their playground in OpenAI. And actually it wasn't an MP3 anyway. And I downloaded, finally converted and downloading those files into MP3, put them in here. You set the URL of what you want to load, and then I have a toggle function that it's executed when you press on the button, and it says which one you pressed on, so the value, and it matches this. If it's already playing, I pause the audio playback. I set the voice playing just to, I can keep track of what the user pressed on. I need to use this function called replace to replace the audio source. Then you press play. I am using this force update just to force the UI update to re-render, because sometimes
I'm Ash.
doesn't.
Hello? Coral check.
Now it works here on this one.
Hello?
Works here.
Hey.
Now it works here. So I don't know if it is. I need to do something else. But in theory, I'm trying to force the update of the UI because this component needs to update. But maybe it's because, I don't know, this is not. Maybe this function doesn't feel like it's being updated because voice playing it's not. Maybe I need to use a use callback to make it more explicit that this function or component updates, and so this prompt would update and re-render this drop-down component. I'm not really sure. I need to test this. Sometimes these things you have to test in production in a real app on a real phone, because the JavaScript engine behaves differently when you're in development mode or production mode. And yeah, and then finally, if you are pressed on the same button, or you press the pause button, it should pause and hopefully press update. So if you pressed on this button and the voice that he was previously playing is the same one you pressed, then we stop the playback. Yeah, that's how I did it. It's all on GitHub, this thing. And this is the drop-down menu. I did anything interesting here? Oh, I think that's all kind of there. I moved some variables, environmental variables definitions from Turbo into the specific task. For example, here is the build task of the Next.js thing. So now actually, if you go to call me, what is it? Call me, please, probably. Oops. What is called my? I have it in my GitHub. Oh, please, PLS. Not Versal app. I made this little this little page that doesn't really work well. Works nice, kind of okay in, but not in a light mode. No. Okay, so I need to fix this. But anyway, we have a little page that hopefully works well in mobile as well. So yeah, you can sign up for a waiting list. I'll put the links to Google and Apple once it's finally up. YouTube links, Twitter link, of course. You have to have those. Yeah, this is where I had some issues with LiveKit. I added a bit of a landing page here. Oh yeah, we're gonna use this icon for, did I push this? I did. So we saw that? Oh yeah, see there? Oops. See the favorite icon or fav icon? It's on the website. So at the top of the page, I need to fix wake. Landing page colors, light mode. I'm not gonna live code this part because it's kind of basic, but I probably can use this one for the notification icon. It's probably a better icon, right? So let's go back to one of the hundreds of tabs I opened recently, Android Asset Studio, and use an image. Open in Finder. Yeah, that doesn't look like a good icon. Say it puts it into white and yeah, kind of white and transparent. So we probably need to convert this first into a robot that at least looks a bit more normal. Let me see. I'll see if I can use Squish. Squish is an image optimization website. So if I reduce the palette to colors, to 3 colors, no dithering, and I export this to the notification icon, at least the folder, and then upload this to here. Will it better? Let me see first. This is the alarm. If I say no, so it doesn't. I want. What do I want for these colors? I think I want everything to be white except for the mouth and and the eyes, so then that looks kind of dark because it's transparent, right? Didn't get this. And here you cannot select the colors that you want to remove, but we have an online editor which like Photoshop. What is it called? I haven't used this much recently. Something with the pics. Pixeler. That's it. So if I drag and drop this one and kind of a bucket, where's the bucket here? Bucket, there we go, bucket and color. Can I do transparent? No. But if I do this and then I select this blue and paint the others to blue, that kind of looks like a robot. So save this as notification. Oh, you can do it transparent, but how do I make that transparent? Well, hopefully the other thing will do that for me. My dog can't stop barking and this doesn't work. If I make it black, will that work? No. I do need to make it transparent. These are the history. One select. I don't know how accurate that is, but for a notification icon might be enough. Let's try that again. There we go. That's a nicer kind of robot notification icon that matches the website's icon. That's notification icon right there for you. I don't know how optimized is, but it doesn't make a difference because it's an icon that is bundled inside of the app, so there's no download kind of time unless you count the time it takes to download the app initially from the App Store. So yeah, not really. Docs and notification robot notification icon. I notice you can't see the top of the screen. Anyway, I need to fix that next time. What's going on? Why is not loading notification icon? Oh, what did I do? Because it's a zip file. I named it as a zip, but it's actually a folder. But then it has all the different assets outside. Thankfully I noticed that and I checked that. So now we have an icon that is Hello Robot. Some small changes, mainly docs. Yeah, I need to fix that. I tried, by the way, to do a visualizer of similar to when you talk to something you see the microphone or some wave going up and down based on the volume, and I tried to get some of the code that was used in the React websites, but the React Native WebRTC component or package doesn't give you that at the moment. So I added a link on my to-do of this GitHub repo where hopefully they'll have this microphone level indicator, so you know that your microphone works. And we probably need the same for when the AI voice. So if I don't get the volume level of that audio, I cannot make any sort of animation or display anything. So we have 15 minutes left for today, and I didn't do any new coding that is really substantial, but let's attempt anyway. The thing I really want to do at this point is authentication, because at the moment, if I put this on the Play Store, anybody can start using OpenAI voice at the moment and use all my credits, and the only way I can stop them is if I remove the OpenAI key, or what is the correct word? Invalidate kind of the OpenAI API key from my account, so nobody can use that. But it doesn't make sense. I want at least people to authenticate first, keep track of the usage per user, and in one day hopefully put a little pay button so they can add credits and hopefully pay a little bit of this, so at least I don't lose money, or lose too much money if for some random reason this goes viral. And I guess also the cloning the voice. So when I finally managed to use Play HD to do the voice cloning, that is something that is more expensive. It's a $20 per month thing. Let me quickly check, sorry. So I would be using the API. I don't know which kind of. I would be using the real-time streaming API to talk to a clone voice. I don't know if I would be using the high fidelity voice cloning or the instant voice cloning, or I don't know what the hell I'll be using. I want to use the latest model with the best voice, and I don't know if I pay $5 per month, or I need to pay almost 50 per month, because at least to allow 100 voice clones and maybe delete voice clones are not used. This info button is not working. It's not working in Chrome either. Yeah, I don't know. I generally go to the API, try to see, and then hopefully it tells me how much I paid in the dashboard, and then I figure, okay, that's how much I would pay if I continue doing this. And there's so many different models and options and things that these companies use here. They call it play dialogue here. There's no dialogue here at all in the API. Dialogue is nothing written in the studio, pricing either, so what the hell is that and how much does it cost? Is your guess as best as mine. In the API, it's strange that it's a monthly fixed thing, but then you pay per additional 1000 characters, and I don't know if characters are tokens, and how do you calculate voice minutes or voice seconds to characters, if that's how they do it, similar to OpenAI. So yeah, there's a lot of unknowns. Let's see if it says something about that. No, I don't think it's anything around that. So we have to just to try. It did work last year when I did a little clone voice. So we'll see how that works. But yeah, sorry. My main point was authentication. So yeah, and to add some credits. So, oh, I did hit an issue, but anyway, let's try to see. I think I stashed some authentication code that I was trying to use last time. Let's see if I can unstash this. No. Okay, so so yeah, so I'm trying to add Supabase auth. Supabase React Native, they have a documentation specifically for Expo, which is great. So hopefully that works. Oh, it works today because last time it didn't really work. You create Expo app, TypeScript, and call it Expo management, user management. We need async storage and the Supabase JavaScript package, which we already have. This is some what's called React Native Elements UI package, but yeah, we don't need any UI. We need this Supabase method and file, so it creates a Supabase, I guess, client with our URL anonymous key. We store it in asynchronous. We want automatically refresh of the token, so I guess the session never expires. You always, as long as the app kind of reloads, it would still work. When we persist the session in async storage, so next time if you were logged in, you still can log in. I'm not sure what exactly is the text section in URL. Then this is the UI component, the login component. They have by default email. I want to do Google, but I need to make this first work, and I think I couldn't. So let's see how. I think I have this file, this component. I have this methods, text input, text input. We're using the React Native Elements UI, so I just took that off and just use React Native for now and comment these labels. I can make it look nicer later. And they're using traditional styles, of course, because it makes sense for them. Let me just read some of the notes. They have some SQL migration things that maybe I can definitely need to use. Let's see what this does exactly. I guess it pulled some migration files. There's no Supabase config. What is my Supabase project ID? Can you call me, please? Or is this the ID? Or is the name project settings? No, project ID. Yeah, so it's that state. So if I link this, which I just selected, generate VS Code settings for Dino, no. IntelliJ, no. Now a link. Enter your database password. What was my database password? I saved it thankfully. Oh, I have some old Supabase CLI. I guess this is important. Let's see, where have I installed Supabase? In Homebrew, yeah. So I need to use Homebrew to update Supabase from 1.2 to 2.2. Or 1.200. Jeez. Okay. So now we have that. I can link again and copy the password again. Okay, it did some changes. I guess it created a file in Supabase. Let me just check here before I show some private keys, just in case. I don't think there's some secret keys, so that's good. We have an API configuration, a database, database pooler, database seed, studio, storage, auth. Anonymous sign-ins. That's probably something we want to enable later, because we want people to open the app, view the app like it is at the moment, and create anonymous, so you sign in, so sort of they don't have to click anything. They just kind of went in where the Google and authentication page comes up. They can have, there's a skip button. That means it creates an anonymous user, and in that user we can keep track of how many times they click call and test things. And once they have like 2 calls, for example, and yeah, they have to kind of log in and create a user. The schedule won't work. If they click schedule something, it will say, do you want to sign in or sign up for the app to use this functionality? To clone the voice, of course you have to do that. Yeah, here's the email, SMS, Twilio, Apple, everything that is kind of there, which is nice. So that is now stored there, but I'm not sure where is the SQL new migrations user starter. What if I do this? Migration, it's empty. Once that is done, how do I apply this? Click run to create a new migration file. Okay, I created a migration file, but now how do I apply the migration file? Migration apply pending to local database. So if I have a file with migrations here, how do I... There's no seed, that's correct. Oh, you can run Supabase locally, that's why you do, what was the command? Supabase db pool, I guess you pull the database locally, and you can run things locally, which is very good, really nice that you can have that. You have that option. It's not everything it's in the cloud, but in terms of database migrations, terminal instructions, you do push to run all migrations against this project. You want to run that one, yeah, finish database push. So I guess it should have updated the profiles table, created a policy on the profiles table, 2 policies, 3 policies, public profiles are visible by default. I think this is kind of like an Instagram thing where you can search profiles, so that's not really necessary. I think only individual people have access to their data, and there's no like public profile and private. Everything is private. Of course, users can create and insert their own profile, can update their own profile. And this is a function to handle new users. This is a database trigger. So when something happens at the database level, I believe all of these executes. So when a new user is created, I guess, Supabase user, we automatically create a profile row in the profiles table with ID, full name, and avatar URL, because normally you get that from authentication like Google Auth. And then is this another trigger, or it creates a trigger after insert on auth users? For each row, execute a procedure, handle new user. Okay, so it defines like kind of this little function here, and then we have this trigger. We set this trigger on, so as soon as this a user auth is created, insert auth.users. After this insert, maybe, I guess, for each row do this. We have some avatars stored, which are accessible, which we don't need that, but I'm just gonna leave that as it is for the moment. Anyone can upload an avatar. Anyone can update their own avatar and storage. That's cool. In terms of tables, now we have this profiles table, which those 6 columns that are defined here: ID, updated, username, full name, avatar, website. Yeah, there's no need for that, but anyway, that's cool. And yeah, that's how sort of you set up a database manually or programmatically from the command line and from there. Add supabase config files. So now let's try to follow the rest of the tutorial and see which error we get, and then we'll kind of stop around there, because this is a little bit where I got a JavaScript error that doesn't make a lot of sense. We have the auth component, we have an account page or a screen where they can manage their details, which we really don't need that. We just want a logout button, which I can copy. To put it in the settings. If you are logged in, of course, but let's pretend. Danger. Yeah, maybe this danger, but it should be a little bit less red, maybe pink. 500. Yeah, that makes it a little bit better. And should be at the bottom, but nevertheless, I just want this to work. So I need to import the supabase package. Or no, it's our component. Import. Nothing works. Base, yeah, from our utilities, which was this file. So, yeah, this is the issue I was getting. As soon as you import that supabase file in my Expo React Native, which I think it's pretty sensible, I'm not doing anything strange, is trying to load this node standard library module stream. Yeah, let me try just to refine where that is. So like it stuff. Supabase React Native, and the error is node standard library. Let's see if Google can use Supabase in Expo project. This is Drizzle, and the error is OS library is trying to load. The error that this one is using is a different module, query string module. I think, yeah, it was something with the real-time library that I saw somewhere being used, but it doesn't really tell here who is trying to import this stream file. Oh, there was something in the Metro config that I wanted to try. Yeah, there was this option that somebody suggested somewhere. Yeah, maybe this is the open issue. Can't use enable metro option. Yeah, because this option, it's on because we are in a monorepo, and for example, the node in here, I don't have all the node modules installed under the Expo folder. I have some in the root folder. So I think I need to say this to Expo or Metro bundler in order to then say, yeah, use this, the project root node modules, this node modules together, and then load them from there. But there is, I guess, a bug with Superbase and this. If I use with the following error, yep, exactly the same thing I'm getting. Somebody mentioned specifying the node modules path, which is what we have, and disable hierarchy lookup, which is this. I think that didn't work. So yes, yeah, now unable to resolve the oh, this is export router from WebRTC. Huh. Maybe I can just upgrade the LiveKit WebRTC package, and fingers crossed that works, because this was the last bug fix. Complain about different file, but let's try that. That seems something that could work. npm install. After I go to this package, JSON, and update to version 0.7. Rerun this, and then fingers crossed. Media stream. That's a different file, isn't it? Than before? Before we got a, I can't remember exactly, but it was a different file. Can I? Oops. It crashed. It's not here. I manually, added this file, but this is a TypeScript file, which I think the error that comes from, it just says that, let's use Sublime Text for this, because sometimes it's better. Let me open the whole folder. Media stream track event. This is the TypeScript file that is importing. This correctly. So who else is importing like this? Nobody. And the error is about this file, so I cannot find that. So is this a bug here? which one was it? Oh, we're probably are we using common.js or module? Let's try this. Now I went back to media files, media devices. Sorry, which one was this? This was module. Maybe it's the opposite. We need like this. Module. If I put this back, should complain about this file now. No. Crashed. So, at the moment, okay, so complaining about the media devices. Here I fix that, remove the index. Now it's complaining about okay, so I think maybe this is not doing any changes. So maybe it's using the common.js file. Devices, there we well, let's try the common.js one. This is the bundled or compiled JavaScript. Yeah, for a second it kind of seems like it's fixed and then it goes back to that. So let me just try something. So in theory, the live kit package is broken. If I don't import this one from, I think it's in the layout, we have something for this, so let's not do that. And I'm guessing the connection hook. Import some live kit packages. No? Yeah, audio session, like it room here, so let's not import that. Let's not import the use connection. WebRTC. I guess we import setting log files, so let's not do that. Assistant. I'm not sure. I don't think I'm using this assistant file. I have it in here, but I don't think I'm importing it anywhere. So it should be executed. What else could be using call service, pretty sure I'm not using it either. So in theory, shouldn't be importing any like kit package. And now it's back to that problem. Okay, so then this didn't fix anything. We can return back to everything that was before. Back to this, revert everything. And just to be safe, what did I update? I updated the T file. Install that version manually again, so it should override those files, and it removed files. This warning, it's about that there's no package JSON in the WebRTC folder, which makes sense. I wonder if there's a way to manually disable this, or I shouldn't put Python projects there. Anyway, yeah, so JavaScript doesn't, so there's an issue with Supabase, and there, this guy, I remember, manually said patch this module. Pretty sure I tried this and it didn't work. They're saying try this version, if it's possible to override that. Then somebody said that doesn't seem to work. And we are 3 weeks ago, nothing really worked. There's some conditional changes that they did on this real-time client, but even I'm pretty sure I remove all this code as they did, or try not to import this WS package that seems to later load that, but no. So I think unfortunately we're stuck for Supabase auth. At the JavaScript level like that, maybe we need to do more server-side and HTTP requests for authentication. Yeah. I'm just gonna write a message here, so we then keep track of another GitHub issue. Clerk, I also know it's a authentication method. I wanted to use Supabase because we're gonna need a database, so doesn't make sense. I mean, you can do everything, but database and a small database to keep track of the user and usage and authentication on the same thing would be nice. If it's an issue just with the bundler, I mean, I could move the files and move things around so the node modules and Metro is happy, not have to do anything like disable hierarchy. back to here. We're gonna follow that issue to see we use Supabase, and next time, or in the meantime, I'll investigate if we can use Clerk with Expo a bit more kind of natively, or is much better supported with both Expo and monorepos. Tanstack, I believe it's the ways of doing API calls. I have an Expo thing here. I have a quick starter. Disable bot protection. I have a provider. Cache. Sign in, login. Auth with Expo. Yeah, this is sort of what I want. I think. Because I want Google Auth. You say custom user interface. I mean, I not really want a custom user interface. If I want a pre-build one, pre-build components for Google One tab, I guess. Google as social connection. Yeah, that's what I want. I just want a button, and then you kind of log in. So maybe we can even use their, if it works. They don't even have issues tab on GitHub, so I don't know if there are any. But let's go back a second and just see what is the main thing we need to install. For Expo, it's Expo Clerk. Where is this node module stored? In GitHub. Using Clerk/JavaScript. Cool. And now let's have a look at issues. Expo here. Nothing obvious. That's good. Maybe it's a better system since it's a kind of a dedicated service just for authentication. Then they have to just store the user stuff in from the server as I guess normally you do. There's some also documentation steps. I did have an account and a application. I don't even know why there's tiny tails. And I can just add more connections. Is it already connected to some Google account that I have? Auth applications. What is an auth application? Is that my application, or is it external auth? Yeah. Maybe we'll try this next time. I'll try this on my own, and if it all works, that's great. We'll have ideally, as I said, if you let's say you're logged in anonymously or not logged in, hopefully we can do anonymous login here as well. You press schedule, you say do you want to sign up to use this, then it redirects you to another page that is authentication page. You select the authentication mechanism, as in Google Auth, email and password. I guess I'm just gonna support Google and Apple, because Apple is necessary for Apple for iOS apps. And once that is done, yeah, you have a user account, and we'll start adding the credits functionality with Stripe. And then I need to figure out how to actually make that work, keep track of the usage. And yeah, I'll commit this so you can follow if you're interested in the details. I'm gonna post my issue here as well, because Supabase, it's a very popular service for database authentication and so much. So I think people using Metro bundlers or Metro repos and exports should be able to use this, hopefully successfully as well. One second. What is the error in Supabase? It has to be in Supabase. I just add this import. Right. Doesn't load if I don't load. Yeah, so yeah, it does. Let me just see a clear error message. But see, here it says that Expo, maybe this file is trying to import this file, and this file is trying to import the Supabase file. And if that happens, then it fails. And if I add that again, this is the error we're getting. Something imported in WS file, which has to be Supabase, because Supabase is using this. And I'm pretty sure we're already using asynchronous storage in the store, and we managed to make this work. So yeah, it's Supabase JavaScript library being pedantous or being a pain. Cool. Okay, I'll stop now the live stream, and yeah, we'll continue with the app. Hopefully we'll release something in the Google Play Store with authentication, keeping track of credits, and yeah, you can talk to an AI. Hopefully not only OpenAI, but also Play HD, clone voices. You can clone your own voice. I guess you can also clone an MP3 if you have a voice of your grandma or anybody on WhatsApp. Maybe you can export that file and then import that file on the app, and then you can talk to your grandma every day, any day of the day. Okay, thanks so much for watching, and have a